Port Charles has always had a way of turning private moments into public reckonings. Secrets don't stay buried here. They simmer, waiting for the worst possible moment to surface. And this time, the truth didn't come out through whispered gossip or a careless confession. It came through a small, blinking red light no one remembered to turn off. The nanny cam. What was meant to protect a family became the device that threatened to tear several lives apart. Willow had been trying to hold everything together, between work, family obligations, and the emotional strain that never truly leaves Port Charles. She was running on determination alone. Chase, steady and reassuring as ever, had become her anchor, her safe place in a world that rarely felt safe. They told themselves they were being careful. They told themselves they deserved a quiet moment. They were wrong. It happened late, long after the house had settled into silence. The lights were low, the air heavy with things left unsaid. Willow and Chase spoke in hushed voices, standing closer than necessary, sharing looks that carried too much meaning to be innocent. It wasn't reckless, it was human, a stolen moment of closeness, charged with emotion, comfort, and unspoken longing. Neither of them noticed the tiny camera tucked into the corner of the room. The next day, the fallout began. Drew wasn't supposed to see it. The footage was discovered by someone else first, someone whose trust had already been stretched thin, a wife who had felt distance growing but couldn't quite prove it, a woman who sensed that something important was slipping through her fingers. When she pressed play, she expected reassurance. Instead, she watched her worst fears take shape. There was no sound at first, just images. Willow and Chase standing too close, the way Chase's hand lingered, the way Willow didn't pull away. It wasn't explicit, but it didn't need to be. The intimacy was unmistakable, and the emotional weight hit harder than any betrayal ever could. Her hands shook as she stopped the video, but she wasn't done. If she had to see it, Drew was going to see it too. That night, Drew came home to a silence that felt unnatural. His wife didn't raise her voice. She didn't cry. She simply gestured toward the screen and told him to sit down. "You need to understand," she said quietly. "You need to see what I saw." Drew didn't know what he was expecting, a misunderstanding, a mistake, something that could be explained away. Instead, he watched the screen in stunned disbelief. Every second felt like a punch to the chest. Willow, someone he trusted. Chase, someone he respected, and a moment that crossed lines Drew never imagined would be crossed so close to home. The camera captured more than just closeness. It captured intention, emotion, a connection that had no business existing under his roof. When the video ended, no one spoke. Drew stood slowly, his expression unreadable. Anger warred with hurt, disbelief tangled with betrayal. He didn't explode. He didn't demand explanations. That scared her more than if he had. Meanwhile, Willow had no idea what was coming. She sensed the shift before she understood it. Phone calls went unanswered. Invitations were withdrawn. People who once met her eyes now looked past her. Port Charles doesn't wait for the truth. It draws conclusions and sharpens them into weapons. When Chase finally confronted her, the weight of guilt settled heavy between them. "It was recorded," he said quietly. "Everything." Willow felt the world's tilt. She hadn't planned for this. She hadn't meant for anything to spiral. What started as comfort had turned into catastrophe, and now there was no way to rewind, no way to explain without sounding like an excuse. The real damage wasn't just what was seen, it was what it meant. Trust had cracked. Relationships were shifting. Drew was forced to question the people he'd relied on. His wife, though outwardly composed, was burning with quiet fury. And Willow faced the possibility that one moment of weakness might cost her far more than she ever expected. Port Charles thrives on moments like this, when love, loyalty, and betrayal collide. The nanny cam may have stopped recording, but its impact was just beginning. Because once the truth is seen, it can't be unseen. And in a town like this, every secret eventually demands a price.